Hello and welcome to this first series of click-by-click tutorials on using Excel 2010. In this series of videos you'll learn some of the basic techniques to get you started in using Excel. If you want to practice the techniques that are shown in these videos, you can download the exercise files along with the written instructions from our website at www.WizzyBooks.com. In this lesson we'll have a look at how we select cells and cell ranges. The easiest way of selecting cells is simply to get your mouse cursor and click. So by clicking on cell B3, that cell has now become active and I can start entering information into it. If I want to select cell D4, I come over to column D in row 4 and simply click with the cursor. Now cell D4 is selected and I can work on that one. But what if I want to select a number of cells, or a range as it's called? Let's say I want to select the cell range B2 to E2. If I click in cell B2 to start with, B2 becomes the selected cell in the worksheet. To select the rest of the cells to go with it, all I need to do is hold down the left mouse button and move my cursor across to column E. Then I'll release the mouse button and I've selected a range. This range is called B2 to E2, and that now allows me to format all of these cells together. So if I wanted to change the font or the background color of these cells, I can do them as a group. But let's just go back into cell B2 for a second, and there's something that we need to be aware of. The position of your mouse cursor should be right in the center of the first cell that you want to select. Click and hold and then drag along. But care needs to be taken that you don't move your cursor too far down to the right, top or left of your selected cell. If you do, the cursor will change shape and become the mouse pointer with a four-pronged arrow underneath. This is the move cursor, and rather than selecting these cells we would simply be moving cell B2 to another location. So make sure your cursor's sitting in the middle and you've got this thick white cross. Click and hold and then drag to the last cell in the range. Likewise, we can do exactly the same if we want to select a vertical range. Click and hold and drag your mouse down. We can also highlight blocks of cells. So let's imagine we want to highlight the first 9 cells in the worksheet, from cell A1 to cell C3. First we'll click in cell A1 and we'll hold the mouse button down and move directly to C3 before releasing the mouse button. Now we've selected the range A1 to C3, and we can select any range in the worksheet. We can start at A1 and come all the way over to G12 if we want. Now we've selected a range of cells which we can work on simultaneously. As well as selecting cell ranges, we can select an entire column of cells simply by bringing our mouse up to the column header, in this case column A, and your cursor will change to this downward pointing black arrow. While my cursor's there, if I click, that will select all of the cells in column A in this worksheet, and I can select any of the columns using this method. And likewise, the rows are the same. If I wanted to select all of the cells in row 2 in this worksheet, I simply click on the row heading, 2, 4, 5, etc. Again, if I want to select multiple columns, I can start in column A, click and hold my mouse, and then drag across to column F. Now all of the cells in column A, B, C, D, E and F are now selected within this worksheet. Likewise, rows. I can click, hold my mouse button down, and now all of the cells in row 3 through to 9 are selected. There may come a time when I want to select all of the cells in the worksheet. I might want to change the font type for the whole of the worksheet, and I can do that by clicking the Select All button in the top corner. And if I click on that now, you'll see that every cell in this sheet is now selected. Sometimes we may want to select cells that are not next to each other. This might be a group of cells in a column, or a row, or simply individual cells throughout the worksheet. Let's say I wanted to select all the cells in column A and all the cells in column C, but none of the cells in column B. First of all, I'll select all of the cells in column A, then I'll hold the Control key down on the keyboard, move my cursor to column C, and click. I've now selected all of column A's cells and all of column C cells, but none of the cells in column B. Likewise, I can do this with rows. I can select row 2, row 4, row 6, row 8, etc. So this allows me to select non-contiguous cells. Likewise, I can select individual cells within the worksheet by clicking on the first cell, holding the Control key down and selecting the cells that I want to select. So that's how we select cells, cell ranges and individual cells that are not next to each other.